welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and having a great day. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you my updated makeup routine, also some TikTok viral makeup products that I have actually loved that much that I've implemented into my everyday routine. So if you want to see how I did this makeup today, then just keep watching, and anything I talk about in this video will be listed below in the description box so you can shop all of the items for yourself. So let's jump into it, and here's me from earlier. Let's start off with primer. This is the Prep and Perfect primer from Primark. This is a little drip of the Bobbi Brown face base and it is so good. It's nice and thick in consistency, so I'm just going to pop that on all over my face. While that's soaking in, I'm going to go and take this big kabuki brush from Tanologist. It's amazing because it fits right down my neck. And then I've also got this here from Be Perfect Cosmetics. It's called Body Talk. I'm going to start making sure I go up to my jawline here and then brushing it and buffing it downwards. This is so handy if you've got a night out. See if you're trying to go out the door quickly and you've got maybe your arms or your hands or your feet and your shoes are on show, you can quickly just buff this over and it gives a lovely bronze but also a nice shimmer. So using the Chroma Conceal by Be Perfect Cosmetics, I'm going to pop that underneath my eye area. I know a lot of people tend to do the whole inner corner and outer corner thing, but for me I still like to take it quite low underneath my eyes. Then I also kind of follow up to the hairline a little bit. I just think it gives me a bit more of an elevated look. I don't really need to spot conceal because I've not got any spots at the moment, thankfully. But I'm going to pop a little bit on my nose and just underneath my lip area, because I find that under here the makeup can go quicker. So I'll leave that for a little while just till it gets a bit more drier and a bit tackier before I start blending it out. And I'm going to use something new. This is amazing. It's the Ekin-Su Be Perfect Cosmetics Radiant Glow Luminous Multi-Use Skin Perfector. It's so good. I've got mine in the shade Light Medium and you don't need much of it at all. So I take like one pump of it here, and this is really nice for illuminating your skin and giving it that really nice glow. It's also got hyaluronic acid in it, so I just feel like this under my makeup helps my skin to stay really hydrated. And as you'll see, it just gives you this really lit from within look on your skin. It's so nice. So I've blended out everything apart from my under eyes. This is the Got To Be Glued Brow Gel, and I take quite a lot of the product off of it. And I use this in conjunction with my Honey Glue by Pink Honey. You might have seen these on TikTok before, but I've had this for years. It lasts for so long. Work the inside of this to get some product onto the brush, and then you'll see loads of it goes on. So I'm just going to work that onto the back of my hands because otherwise you can get quite a white cast on it. I actually brush them the wrong way first, like this, and then I start to brush them back in the direction, and that way I just feel like you get quite a lot of the product on the skin underneath. So what I'll tend to do is brush straight up, so they're almost sticking in vertical lines all the way up to the top, and then I start to angle it off this way. And then what I do, basically where I want the brow line to be at the top, I take the brush on its side and I draw a line, and it catches any of those little straight hairs to pop them into shape. Does that make sense? So I've brushed them straight up, and then any of the little straggly ones at the top that I don't want to be straight, I take the brush literally in line with it and then I brush them into position. And that's pretty much my brows done. You might need to take a baby wipe round the edges just to make sure that there's no extra glue around your face, because sometimes that can stop your foundation from setting nicely. I just think it looks really nice because you're using your own brow hairs, and as long as my brow hairs have been tinted and dark enough for the rest of my hair and then my features, I think that it sits really nicely. So I'm just going to get this sponge here. It's by a company called Jewel Cosmetics, and I'm going to just go ahead and tap out that concealer just in the place that it was in, so just literally on top of my lid. It has gone viral for good reason, and actually you can get it on TikTok shop right now for, I'm sure, £14 or something similar. The colour that I use it in is W3, and it is just the best foundation I think I might have ever used. It's probably just been like maybe 1.5 pumps over my whole face. This is the double-ended beauty buffer, and it's so amazing because it just feels like you're painting on your face. So I'm going to go ahead and take that foundation. Look at the way that it just covers everything and it blends like a dream. It's really quite buttery in its consistency. It's thick but it blends nicely. It's like a demi matte, so again really nice and creamy on the skin. And the great thing about this brush is because you've got this little one at the top, you can get in nice and closely to your brows. there we go, that foundation is just amazing. It still gives you the shine, you can still see my skin throughout it, but it gives me the full coverage, it evens out my skin tone. It really just kind of hydrates, it doesn't make it feel cakey or dry. It's a beautiful foundation, and actually the way that it wears through the day is really telling on how good it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and just tap all that in. And to go ahead and add a little bit more of a dimension to my face and some warmth, I'm going to use this little good favourite of mine. It is the PS Bronze Whip. £4. I actually always keep the price on it so that I remember. And inside it might remind you of something. It reminds me of an old Chanel product that I used to have that's been discontinued, but it also reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer. So I'm just going to go ahead and using this little tiny brush. This is one of the Olivia Hale ones from Home Bargains. They're really good brushes as well. I'm just going to go ahead and do a few circular motions in here to get some product. I'm just going to buff it into my skin. It just melts into that foundation so nicely. And I also take it to the corner of my eyelid as well, just out to the temple, just because I think that kind of shortens this area on my face a little bit. And I've got quite a flat face, so sometimes I find that that does make a little bit of a difference for the kind of projection of my face. The best way to remember this, if you don't already do it, is you do a number 3 on each side. So 3 up here and then a 3 on that side, or a 3 and an E. That's the easiest way to remember it. And just look how precise that gets the nose contour. So I just take that from the inner corner down to the tip of my nose. And then I also like to connect that into my eye and then out towards my temple, just so that everything sort of blends together quite easily. And then for sure you can see the difference on this side versus this side. I've got more shadow here. It makes it come in more, it kind of gives me a bit more structure to my face versus this side. Obviously that's nice for a natural look, you can add a little bit of blush on and your mascara and your lipstick, but for me I prefer the more bronzed look, so I'm going to go ahead and match up the other side. And now I'm going to go ahead and put on one layer of mascara. This is the step in the order in which I do things, because I like to do a couple of layers of mascara, so while that's drying down I'll do something else. So let's go and use mascara, and this one here is by MAC in Extreme Dimension 3D Lash in the shade Black. And it's really good at catching all those little tiny eyelashes. So I find that if I raise my eyebrows and then also try and close my eyes, this is the best way to not get as much mascara on my eyelid, which I'm really bad for because I've got hooded lids. It's oftentimes really hard for me to get mascara on without getting it on my eyelids. I'm going to go ahead and take my liquid blusher. This is a cream blusher and also a liquid blush highlight. So this is my little duo that I've been doing at the moment, and I absolutely love them together. You guys know how much I love this product. It is so underrated, I can't even explain. You can see how well loved it is. This is the Pixie On The Glow blush in the shade Juicy. It's a cheek and lip tint, but it is so slept on. We've got this one here, more of a kind of tangerine style blush. We've also got one that's like a pink, a rosy pink, and then there is one called Ruby, which literally is like a ruby colour. You literally just take it onto a beauty blender. I just sort of like draw it on. I want to just take it, basically I put it sort of here. The placement of this for me is usually on the outer corner of my eye and then sort of up. So pressing it here, nice and high on my cheekbone, almost where you would highlight, because it's quite glossy, and then I tap it in. Oh my god, I just love it so much. Tap that in. It's just such a lovely colour. It's not as orange as what you would think it would be, but it's just absolutely gorgeous and very glam. So there's the other side for comparison, and here's with the blush. It's so nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do the next step, which is using the Sculpted by Amy Liquid Lights blush in the shade Pink Light. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that on the back of my hand, just a tiny little amount. My hands are full of bronzer. And then I use this on the back of the beauty blender, not where I've put the blush. And I just sort of work it in there just to make sure I'm tapping off the excess. And what I'm going to do is just literally the same placement but more at the top of the cheekbone. I'm just going to tap this in. And that just adds an extra bit of highlight. It's so nice. At this point I also do the excess of this on the end of my nose, because sometimes I think you just need a little bit of like a sort of being out for a walk in the chilly weather look. And then I'll tap the highlighter onto. That just brightens up the whole face, doesn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side. So how lovely and glossy and dewy does that look? I think it looks so nice. The only thing I want to do now is just sort of like dampen down a lot of the shine just underneath my eyes here, and then a little bit on my head and chin. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and take my Huda Beauty Banana Bread Bake. So this is the Easy Bake Loose Powder. Just using a nice fluffy brush. I've not got a powder puff yet. I'm being late to the trend. I'm just going to pop some underneath my eyes. Now tell me, see if you've got this product, what do you think of the smell? Because I love it. And I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people say it's like an old-fashioned perfume, but maybe I like old-fashioned perfume, who knows? Tip for anyone that doesn't do it, squeeze your brush to make it thinner if you ever need to get into like a little smaller area. Okay, now is my moment to go back in with my mascara for layer number 2. So that has made a huge difference to put on the second layer, and it's definitely got on my lids, but we'll deal with that in a minute. Moving on to lip colour. Oh my goodness, this here is an oldie but a goodie. It is the Collection 2000. I'm sure it's in the shade Nudes in the Buff. And this is such a creamy consistency that you really can just sort of like smudge the edges, and you've got a lip colour as well as a lip liner. Your Lips But Better shade. I'm just going to emphasise that by using this gorgeous lip oil by Iconic London. See how the little applicator rolls on so nicely. Nice glossy lip, and I never thought I'd be one for lip gloss again, but getting the right ones makes a big difference. This one is so nice because it's moisturising, and also it's got a really nice sheen on it. It's perfect. It sort of just glazes over what we've just done. Right, to correct the little mistakes that I've made behind on my eyelids, I'm just going to take a little tiny brush with a little bit of concealer on it, and I'm just going to literally use it almost like an eyeshadow base. So using this nice big fluffy brush, I'm going to take this colour here. It's more like a kind of warm tan colour, and just tap it on, and I literally just sweep this all over my eyelid right down to the lash line, and then I buff it up to the brow. So there's not really any kind of real blending sort of contouring. It's really just a case of making my eyelid a little bit darker, so it's really easy. And because I don't do bottom lash mascara, I take a little bit of that warmer colour here and I pop that under my eye. And then I'm going to take the bronzer on this palette. It's really nice because it's not got any shimmer in it, it's just a matte bronzer. So I'm going to take that onto a brush and just go over the bronzer that I did before with the cream colours. One final coat of mascara. I just saturate my skin with that, and it really helps with the staying power of my makeup for the day. So I'm going to let that dry in and go and fix my hair, and then come back and show you the final result. I'm back, and this is the final result. I'm so happy with how these products sit together. They last all day. That is really the telling tale of how well they all last. It is really the fact that I can go through my day, I can be with the kids, I walk with the dog, do whatever I'm doing in front of quite hot lights, especially like if we're recording in the studio for the podcast or whatever. I come out and my makeup literally does not move. It's great. So I absolutely love the way that these layer together. If you guys also want to go and shop any of these items, then I have linked them below in the description box of this video. Click on there and you'll see everything linked. And thank you so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please do by clicking the little red button. It's completely free to do so, and I'd love to see you over here again. And leave a comment if you want to see anything else like this in the future. You can suggest it below for me as well. Thanks guys, bye!